Greetings and welcome to Tele Brockton, the Rendez-Vous show that broadcasts on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So it is an honor and a privilege to have with us this morning the mayor of the great city in our platform, Mr. Robert Sullivan. How you doing,
Pastor Matt? I'm well, Pastor Matthew. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I've been on your show many times in the past. It's always been very informative to the Brockton residents and everybody that listens to your show and watches your show. So I really thank you for your time today, sir.
Mr. Mayor, talk to us about yourself for the people who don't know you, or for the people who didn't vote for you for the first time. What can you say to those people?
So I was born and raised here in Brockton. My wife is from Brockton. My mom and dad still live in the house that I grew up in Wood 2, near the Dairy Queen on Ash Street. And, you know, Brockton's a special place. My grandparents came to Brockton from Ireland to work in the factories. They were immigrants. I'm actually an Irish citizen and an American citizen myself. So Brockton is my home. It's your home. It's our home. And you know, I've always tried to give back to Brockton. You know, I went to Brockton High School. I graduated in 1988. I then went on to Boston College to get a degree in political science. I then went to law school, New England School of Law in Boston to get my law degree. And then I went back to Boston College to get my master's in business administration, my MBA. So because Brockton's such a special place, I wanted to give back. So many years ago in 2003, Mayor Jack Units was the mayor, and I asked if I could volunteer for a board, and I volunteered for the planning board for 2 years. Great experience. I met some wonderful people. And then I ran for city council, Pastor, back in 2005 as a counselor at large, and I was very fortunate to win. And I served as a counselor at large for 14 years in the city of Brockton. 5 of those years, my fellow city councilors elected me president, and I served as president of the city council. And then just 2 years ago, I ran for the mayor of City of Brockton and, you know, worked very hard and got a lot of support and became the mayor on January 6th of 2020. I got sworn in and then all of a sudden COVID came about 5.5 weeks later. So we've been working together. People joke, they call me the praying mayor. I love to pray, and I'm a Christian, and you know, I've met you and many other pastors, and we do weekly pastor calls, and every other Friday we do prayer sessions with pastors, 8:30 to 9:15. And, you know, I love being a Brocktonian, but I also, what I really love about Brockton is the diversity and the people. We have wonderful people that make up the city. So I am, you know, I'm really proud to be the leader of the city of Brockton, but I work with and for the residents, and I always will. So, you know, as you know, Pastor, because you were nice enough to have myself and Dr. Eno Mondesir and Dr. Rick Herman on your show, we really are continuing to work to make Brockton a healthy, safe community. As I film this today with you, our death count is 446 residents that have died by that deadly virus, and over 16,000 cases, Pastor. So I need to continue to work with the health professionals and the pastors and the other elected officials, city councilors and school committee and state representatives and state senator to make sure that we're all on the same page, we're better together, and we need to continue to collaborate.
We know you started your first term in COVID, and COVID still going on. And how can you evaluate yourself? The first term, how can you evaluate that?
You know, I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, Mayor Sullivan, your first term was called the COVID term. The COVID term. That's what you were doing the whole time, and you continue to it. You know, I stand firm on the fact that, you know, I knew early on that this was going to be a serious disease and a virus. And my wife went to medical school. She's a physician assistant, my wife Maria. So she had said to me, you know, this is a serious thing. It's at that time it was on the West Coast in California. So I was able to get the 3 hospitals, the VA hospital, Brockton Hospital, and Good Samaritan Medical Center, along with Neighborhood Health Center and Father Bill's Mainspring and High Point together. And I hired a medical consultant, a doctor named Rick Herman, who used to be the former ER chief at Brockton Hospital and also Good Sam. And my whole view was, listen, we have to work together to try to minimize and mitigate the spread of the virus. But at the same time, as mayor, I needed to make sure that our economy was going forward. So I stood strong during the pandemic. I organized testing with community partners, private and public partners. We actually spent $1 million, Pastor, at the Shaw Center to get that back up and running. And it was a testing site. And to this day, it's a vaccine clinic up there. And, we got that $1 million reimbursed. The city got paid back under the CARES Act. We also spent $6 million to get laptops for every boy and girl in the Brockton public school system. We got reimbursed again under the CARES Act. My job and my title is mayor, but my biggest job is to be a dad and a husband. I have 3 young kids, and 2 of them go to Brockton Public Schools. So, one thing I did differently than other mayors, there's a lot of mayors that paused construction because of COVID. And I said, we can't do that in Brockton. I need to continue to take necessary steps to protect the residents and the business owners, but we also need to continue to have the economy thriving. So if you drive downtown Brockton right now, Pastor, there's a lot of construction going on, a lot of development. Other people have said to me, you were great because you were able to direct critical emergency funding to small businesses. We gave out $500,000 to small businesses in Brockton. I also was able to work with Black-owned Brockton here in Brockton to create markets at the Westgate Mall and outside of City Hall here. And one thing I like to do as mayor is to be a hands-on mayor and visit folks and do it in a safe way, but go to churches and go to businesses. And, at the end of the day, we are better together. We need to continue to work. I've been able to work diligently with partners such as Charity Guild to food deliveries to Brockton residents and, working to make sure that the students are helped. And the biggest thing, Pastor, and you know this because you do this, collaboration is key. We need to continue to collaborate and work together. But I'm proud of what I've done as mayor. I'm really sad of the loss and the sickness we've had and the change. People have changed forever financially and physically and emotionally. So I am running again. And Brockton's a great community, but we need to continue to stay focused on a healthy, safe community.
What was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, without a question.
Beside COVID, what was your biggest challenge on your first step?
I would have to say that everything that was tied into COVID. Everything was tied into COVID. From people facing homelessness in Brockton, we had to pivot because we knew that COVID would spread when people are in confined areas. So what I did was I worked with the state to put up tents at Perkins Park to depopulate people. Also worked with the state so that we would get additional vaccine clinics. And so again, COVID unfortunately has really tied a lot of things in. But I also want to tell you that I took the President Obama and my brother's Keeper pledge. We all know the brutal murder of George Floyd, and I created a community justice task force of 8 members here in the city of Brockton. And 2 of them are pastors, Pastor Rob Conley and Pastor Mark Oliver. And we're continuing to work through recommendations to try to focus not just on police reform, but educational disparities and business and housing disparities. And it's a work in progress, but Brockton is going to be a great example of how we can work together for positive, beneficial change. And another thing I think, Pastor, that is extremely important is to be able to make sure that services are provided to businesses. And I've been able to do an initiative. I created it out of my office called Open for Brockton, Open for Business, working with the Brockton Redevelopment Authority, a really wonderful person named Adelsa Mendez to talk to small businesses. What is missing, what is not missing. I created an internship program with Harvard Kennedy School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and their students first did an analysis of the streets in Brockton because too many pedestrians have been injured or killed in the streets of Brockton. And they did an analysis. It's a white paper, which is going to give us really an ability to move forward. But now I asked them to come back to Brockton. What amenities are in Brockton? What great things are here in Brockton? I can tell you all about them. You know them. But what's lacking? What do we need to add on to in Brockton? So, to be an effective mayor, you have to be a good listener. You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and work hard. I don't sleep much. I work hard in this job. If you do it right, you have to. But really, I think one of the things that I'm proud about is that we've been able as a community, as a strong community, to stay focused on what's important. And the little things add up, Pastor. Every morning I tell the DPW commissioner, get the street sweepers out, clean up the city. We want to have a clean city. We want to make sure that everybody in city has a voice, and, working with all the ethnic organizations, the Latin Women Association, the Cape Verdean Association, Haitian community partners, and again, everybody benefits when we work together.
I'm glad you mentioned all those things because perception is a good thing, and as I watch pretty much all the debate between the past debate, the mayoral debate regarding the candidate, but there's a question that always comes up about Brockton. It is about perception. So I know you bring in business in Brockton area, but what else can you do to make people think differently about Brockton?
Yeah, you know what? That's a sad thing because when people have preconceived notions, most of the time they're wrong about those notions. And Brockton's a wonderful place. We have to market it. Brockton is a business. We're a city, but we're in the people business. And I happen to be the CEO of the business. It's a $500 million business. That's what the budget is, $500 million. So we have to tell our own story. We have to tell people about the history of Brockton, Frederick Douglass coming here, the Underground Railroad being here, the first department store Santa Claus in the United States was here in Brockton. The oldest candy manufacturing company is still here in Brockton. It beats Hershey candy. It's here in Brockton on Perkins Ave. Marvin Hagler, Rocky Marciano. But the number one asset about Brockton are the people. They don't, when you read the newspaper or you see the news, a lot of time it's the bad things that happen, but they don't talk about the wonderful kids that graduated from Brockton High School, that went on to college, went to Ivy League schools, went in to serve our nation in the armed services, went into the workforce, the trades. They don't talk about that. So one thing I've said as mayor is I want to be able to tell our own story. And I do this I'll talk to anybody and everybody about Brockton. And I'll give you an example, Pastor. Last week, I was in Boston in the financial district to talk about Brockton. And we're getting municipal bond investors. And we were there for 12 hours, myself and the CFO, to talk about Brockton, the history of Brockton, the financial benefits of Brockton. And the $300 million request went up to 1.3 billion request, billion with a B, because the investors understand that Brockton is on the rise. And Secretary Mike Keneally and Karen Polito, Lieutenant Governor, did another walking tour with me recently. The first Black-owned brew pub in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is going to be downtown Brockton, Brockton Beer Company. So again, perception is not always reality, but the little things do add up. So to be able to tell the story and craft our own story, I've said this before, and I mean this, Brockton is a canvas. All different pieces make up that quilt, and our picture, our painting is through us. And so, one thing that I will tell you is no matter where I go, I am the biggest cheerleader of Brockton because Brockton's a special place. That's why people are moving here, and that's why people stay here. That's why myself and my wife stayed here. My parents are here. My in-laws are here. And we're raising our 3 kids here as well.
When people are trying to move to another town or another city, they look at the crime rates. They look at school. In Brockton right now, what can you tell those people about the crime? And I was reading something about the education up here in Brockton. I think it's downgrade a little bit. So what is the problem?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell you this as someone that went to Brockton High School, which is the largest public high school east of the Mississippi. With students and staff, we have over 5,000 people in that building every single day. I graduated a long time ago in 1988, and when I went on to Boston College, I had much more difficult courses at Brockton High School than I did my freshman year in college. We have wonderful staff there, and you can take an opportunity. But with that being said, over the years, Brockton was not getting the fair share of money, state money. We weren't. And there were 3 lawsuits, the Webby case, the Hancock case, and the McDuffie case. All of those were students from Brockton that sued saying, Brockton kids count, Brockton kids should be getting the real money. So thanks to a lot of efforts from the state and the state delegation, this year we got $22 million. We're going to be using that money. It's called the Student Opportunity Act. We're using that money to help our education, to help the boys and girls, help the staff. In terms of crime, first of all, Brockton is the only city in Plymouth County. Our crime statistics are down right now, which is great. However, crime happens. That's just a fact of life. So We do have dedicated police force, fire force, Brockton Emergency Management Force in Brockton that works for a safe, healthy community. But, you know, what I can tell you right now is it's a work in progress. Chief Manny Gomes, Chief Brian Nardelli, they work with me every single day. Superintendent Mike Thomas, who heads our Brockton Public Schools. I've known Mike. We went to high school together. Omari Walker is someone that I've become to know. He heads up the New Heights Charter School. You know, Southeastern Regional, as you know, Pastor, over in Easton, Massachusetts, 65% of those kids are from Brockton, Mass. So again, we can't forget about Cardinal Spellman and the Seventh-day Adventist and Trinity Catholic Academy. Those are all Brockton students. So, you know, my role as mayor is also chairing the school committee. We have 7 elected school committee members, and, you know, it's really, it's a work in progress. Can we do better? Yes. Do we need to do better? Yes. Will we do better? Yes. And so, you know, I'm not afraid to say that we have to look at the past, the things that happened in the past that didn't work well or were wrong, to forge our future. We learn from the past to move ahead.
As a Brocktonian, since I can say 21 years I've been in Brockton. I mean, I got people who are complaining about some street the way they are. So some road. Do you have any? What can you say about those streets that's not good to drive?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I agree with you. We have some really lousy roads in Brockton. We also have pipes underneath the ground that were installed in the 1880s and the 1890s. So thanks to the city council, you know, we're doing some bonding authorization right now. You borrow money at a really historically low interest rate to do some repairs. And, you know, we're going to do under the ground repairs, and then we're going to be able to do the streets. But we also know that the federal money, the infrastructure bill, will be coming to Brockton. So we'll be able to reap some benefits. But you know, we need to also do an analysis. Some of the streets in Brockton are private roads versus public roads. And, you know, the way that the state gives us our money under Chapter 90, it's called, is how many are public roads. So even though Brockton will maintain private roads, plow during the snow and picks up rubbish, other towns do not. But we do that in Brockton. So do I believe that we need to do a better job? I do. The potholes are difficult at times. But every year, the city councilors, there's 7 ward councilors, there's 4 councilors at large, give their priority streets for repavement and sidewalks. And as mayor, I've supported so many different endeavors with street repairs on the north side and the south side and the east side and the west side. But we need to continue to do that because, you know, you're taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer, you know, and Pastor, you're a taxpayer. We expect to get, you know, our money's worth. And so, again, we have a lot of roads that are old roads. But we're also getting a lot of federal money, American Rescue Plan money as well, ARPA money. We've already gotten 17 million that's in the bank account, another 17 million next year, another 4 million that will come probably from the Plymouth County folks. So, you know, the 18 million that we're getting from the CARES Act are reimbursed money. So money's coming in. And what I said the other night at the city council is, it's great that we're getting all this money, but now we have to spend it wisely. We have to spend it in a manner that's going to be the most effective for the residents and the business owners. And, you know, if I continue to be mayor, and I hope to continue to be mayor, that's going to be my mission.
I'm from Haiti, and I'm pretty sure you know about what's going on to our country right now and how people fled the country. Do you have any plan to receive refugees in Brockton area right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would support that 1,000%, much like I was so pleased when TPS got extended as well. I mean, you know, my view is, and I've said this from day one, my own grandparents are immigrants. You know, the whole nation has been made up over the generations, people coming here for a better life. And, you know, when the earthquake in the past, we had a lot of people from Haiti come here, and I'm supportive of that. It's about a humanitarian effort, taking care of other human beings. So, you know, I would welcome people that need help as a human, as a Christian, and as a mayor. Now, you know, I also know that a lot of families still have folks in Haiti. I have 2 of my staff here, Joseph Francois and Jensen Denoise, in my office, both of Haitian descent, and, you know, they give me a lot of updates. I've spoken to the consul general several times, and, you know, we need to make sure that people have the ability to feel safe. Now, I also worked with Marlene Amity and Haitian community partners to actually collect and distribute goods back to Haiti for that terrible event that happened there. We did an outdoor vigil, to honor and respect those that were injured and, of course, those that were lost. And we sent over humanitarian supplies. And, that was a lot of people did that, but that showed a lot for Brockton because Brockton stepped up. And so I'll continue to work for all aspects of Brockton. We have people from Haiti and Cape Verde and Angola and Nigeria and the Latin communities and Italy and Ireland and Poland. And that's what makes Brockton so great.
When locals, like people, see you on the street or out in the community without the formal event, what do they usually say to you? More prayers or more complaints?
Oh, prayers, without question. I've done an open communication, during COVID. We've done mailings in multiple language, Haitian Creole, Cape Verdean Creole, Spanish and English. And people understand that I'm a person, I'm a very transparent person, I'm a caring person. I get a lot of thank you, Mayor, you're doing a great job. And thank you, Mayor, for sticking in there. A lot of people wouldn't have. And, I get complaints as well, and that's fine. I mean, everybody that comes to my office or calls my office, whatever he or she is talking about, that's the most important thing for them, and we need to address it. So constituent services is key. I was just in an event last week at Teen Challenge, and people kept saying, thank you for doing the testing clinics and working with Neighborhood Health Center and doing the vaccine. One of our proudest things is we're the highest vaccinated community in Gateway compared to other Gateway communities. So we're doing extremely well. When I became mayor, our census data was in 38% response. I told them that we need to do better than that. We're going to miss a lot of federal money. We received the numbers. We got over 60% responded. We brought it up from 38. We're at a little under 106 registered people in Brockton now, more federal money, which is great. So, I keep saying this, Pastor, it's a privilege to serve as mayor, but it's also a challenge. And it's a challenge that I'm ready, willing, and able to continue to address. But I can only be as good as the people that work with me. And like yourself, you don't hesitate when we ask if we can get the message out to talk about COVID and the Delta breakthrough cases. And I will tell you, next Tuesday, as of next Tuesday, which is the 26th of October, the Shaw Center has been selected by the state to be a regional booster shot location. That's a big thing for Brockton, and it helps not just Brockton, it helps all the regional communities. And Dr. Eno Mondesir, who I'm so happy to have leading the Board of Health, and again, he's of Haitian descent, but he's a compassionate, caring man, and he supported that, and Dr. Herman supported that. And there's a gentleman named Steve Hook who heads up our BEAM, our Brockton Emergency Management, and it's a part-time job, but he works just as hard as everybody, and then some. So, one thing that we have, and I'll make a plea right now, if anybody needs masks or disinfectant, PPE, we still have so much of that. I'd ask you to reach out to my office or ask Pastor Matthew. We'll deliver it to you, because I want to continue to have a safe city of champions, a city of Brockton.
Mr. Mayor, if someone asking you, why are you running again? What is the reason why you're running again?
Yeah, it's funny. I was asked that the other day. Someone said to me, Mayor, you're a lawyer. You have a healthy family. You're a dad of 3 kids. You've done an exceptional job. Why do it again? And my response is this, we have to continue the mission. This term was all about COVID. And, I think we've handled it exceptionally, but I'm running again for Brockton and for the residents and business owners of Brockton, working together and really working to make sure that the next generation, my kids and the younger generation, have a better community, and understanding, Pastor, that we're only as good as the amount of people and time we put into it. And so there's always naysayers out there. I understand politics can be like that, but at the end of the day, I look at myself in the mirror, and it's about being genuine, having a moral compass, and making sure that you act in the best manner. I'll tell you a quick story. I had to file an executive order during COVID. I had to do curfews. I had to close places. I had to close gymnasiums. Some of my friends I've known since I was a little boy are still mad at me that I closed the gym. And you know what? I did the right thing, because I acted out of abundance of caution for the whole city. And so, you know, why I'm running again is Brockton's a special place. And I continue to love working for all. And, you know, I hope that I'll stay in that role.
What separates you between the council at large, Tina Cardozo, who's running against you?
Well, I would never talk about other opponents. I applaud everybody that runs for office. It's great when people run for office, and you know, all I can tell you is it's what is the track record? You know, what are the accomplishments? You know, the fact that when I was a city councilor for 14 years, I was pretty much the top vote getter citywide, all 7 wards, all 28 precincts. You know, I grew up in Ward 2, I live in Ward 1, but I've represented all of the wards and all of the precincts. And as mayor, I continue to do that. And, you know, I go to everything that I can go to, and it's about working for the betterment of Brockton. And it's being able to, I have a business degree, right? A master's in business administration, being able to do budgets. And I did 14 of them, and I've done another 2 as mayor. So 16 city budgets, and, you know, working with other elected officials. Congressman Stephen Lynch, I call him all the time. He's been very helpful during COVID. And you know, U.S. Senator Ed Markey and U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren and Karen Polito and Charlie Baker, the governor, lieutenant governor. It's about working with people, and I have a proven track record on that. You know, and really, you know, I do applaud people that run for city council and school committee and mayor. But I really believe that right now we have to stay the course. We have to have a steady hand. We have to have proven leadership. And I keep saying this, but we are better together. And I want to continue to work with everybody. So again, the election's coming up. We'll find out in short order, but really it's about accomplishments. It's about a vision, a future, and how we accomplish that, and the building blocks for success that I've already laid and I'm going to continue to lay.
Do you have any plan for the homeless on the street, on the main street, precisely at the corner of Pleasant? And also, you know, there is a big problem in Brockton, drugs. Do you have any plan for those?
I do. So when I became mayor, first of all, Pastor Roberto is someone that has, and that's his church down there. He's really cared for people facing homelessness. And again, we all grew up with the idea of having a roof over our head, right? That was the goal. It was not to live on the streets. And there's reasons why people are on the streets, drugs and alcohol, mental health issues. Maybe they lost their house in the foreclosure epidemic. There's a lot of variables. But we have to provide a compassionate approach with wraparound services. So what I've heard since I've been mayor, I've worked with John Yazinski, who is the CEO of Father Bill's Mainspring. And what I've learned and what I've heard is that the wraparound services are helpful for people moving forward. And what I will tell you that I was able to work with John on the Roadway Inn, which is the hotel up on Belmont Street right before Route 24. And Father Bill's has acquired that. We were using that to get people to live there during COVID, get them off the streets, make sure they have a safe environment. And then I supported it, and the state reps and the state senator, and we supported it, and the governor supported it. And so now Father Bill's owns that. Another really good thing that I want to share with you is that the Father Bill's downtown, next to Perkins Park, will be moving. They are going to be going up to vacant land near the VA hospital, where they're going to build a campus setting. And they asked me if I would support that. And I said, I will support it if it's a campus setting with wraparound services for mental health and drug abuse. But if you do move, I want the city to be able to reacquire the land downtown. So we are going to be working for the city to acquire Father Bill's downtown, because they'll vacate and move to a nice campus setting, which is good because, as you know, Pastor, downtown Brockton is really ripe for development. There's a lot of people investing in Brockton because of the transit oriented. You can jump on the Montello or Campello or Main Line and get into Boston on the commuter rail in 35 minutes. And, you know, the rent in Brockton is so much more reasonable compared to Quincy and Braintree and Southie and Dorchester and Charlestown. So, you know, people are coming here, young professionals are coming here. And so again, I want people to know that the opioid epidemic is real. I know COVID has kind of pushed it aside a little bit because it's COVID, but we're still losing people. We had overdoses in Brockton last week. Most of those individuals were brought back with Narcan. We did lose a person, which is just tragic. It's tragic. So, you know, working with the providers, like the Champion Plan that was established by the late Mayor Bill Carpenter and carried on by Mayor Rodriguez, and I proudly carry that on. And, you know, I hired a social service director in my office, a woman named Jasmine Bradshaw that is working. She used to work for Father Bill's. So there's a lot going on right now, but I think the biggest thing is that we have to have a people's approach. We have to do it in a way that helps people and not stigmatize. Sometimes we get calls and, why is someone sleeping under the bridge? And we'll send out people to try to help those. And, it's about perception, but it's also about compassion. It's compassion. So I am proud to say that with Father Bill's working with us and with the hospitals and with Neighborhood Health Center, we're moving in the right direction and people are going to be proud of the accomplishments.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. But as a homeowner, do you have any plan about property taxes? Because people complaining a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, they are. And, my own parents complain to me about it. And I pay the taxes as well. I mean, the thing is, under Massachusetts, the tax levy is 2.5%, right? Proposition 2.5%. And so to be able to provide the services, you go up to the levy. I will tell you this, we're trying to be creative. One thing I did as a city councilor and as a lawyer, I drafted an ordinance so that senior citizens in Brockton and veterans in Brockton can volunteer time, and then they get a price reduction back on their real property tax. So, we need to tell people more about that. If you are a senior citizen, you're interested, call the Council on Aging, Janice Fitzgerald. If you're a veteran, call the War Memorial Veteran Services, Dave Farrell is his name, or always call the mayor's office, 508-580-7123. It's always good to hear from residents, and it doesn't matter what it is. Call us. I do a lot of videos to give updates. I tape a cable show called Our Brockton, and the title is Our Brockton. It's all of Our Brockton. I've done 30 episodes since I've been mayor. I do an e-newsletter as well. I do a quarterly one. So, Pastor, if any of your parishioners or friends want to get on the newsletter, we just need their email. I've hired people here that are experts that are helping us really make it a better community. But again, hiring additional firefighters and police for our safety and hiring really talented teachers is paramount as well. So I know the taxes, people complain about it, and I get it, and at the end of the day, we have to provide the services because the city is a business. And we do get some good services, really good services. But can we do better? Yes. And I mean this. As long as I'm an elected official in Brockton, I'll be a voice for the people because we have to be able to move Brockton in the right path, which is up. We can't afford to go down. We just can't.
There are a lot of conversation about a 2 years term for mayor, and some people are talking they will like it will be better to have it 4. So, what is your thought for that?
Well, I mean, I could say this. I'm the mayor right now, so I don't want to be self-serving about that. I will tell you, at one point, Brockton had 4-year mayors, and then it was changed to 2-year mayors when Mayor Units came in. I will tell you that other cities recently, Quincy and New Bedford, changed from 2 years to 4 years. Again, I know the late Mayor Carpenter. I was there the night that Bill talked about it. He thought it would make sense at his State of the City address for the city to consider that. He wasn't trying to be self-serving. He was just bringing a point up. I think 2-year terms are difficult for city councils and mayors and school committee. We also don't have rotating terms in Brockton. So on November 2nd, the mayor, city council, and school committee will be on the ballot. So in theory, because we don't have rotating, you could have a whole new group of people coming in. But the voters decide, right? The voters decide who they want to be representing them and advocates for them. But, I would say that the city council would need to entertain any term changes, and then it would go to Beacon Hill, the state representatives and senators and home rule, and then it would come back to the voters to decide. So, right now I'm a 2-year mayor and I'm continuing to work every day the best I can. And, you can look at other municipalities in the Commonwealth, but right now on the books in Brockton, 2-year mayor, 2-year city council, 2-year school committee, and then on the opposite years, 2 years for state rep and 2 years for state senate. So, we just have to continue to deal with what we have and really do the best thing we can every day.
Mayor Robert Sullivan, so now this is your time for the closing statement.
Well, thank you, Pastor Matt. Again, I just want to thank you personally for your friendship, for your prayers, for your support, for your guidance, and what you do every day to better Brockton. And I'm proud to be the mayor of Brockton. I'm the mayor of everybody in Brockton, all people. I mean, I am someone that always is ready, willing, and able to try to help, because that's what it means to be a public servant. And I've done it again for 16 years, 2 years as mayor and 14 years as city councilor. So right now, if you are listening to this and you need anything, if you need food delivery, if you need information about COVID, if you need information about what's going on in the schools, if you need anything about that senior citizen or veteran work-off program, call my office. I have people that work here. They're not my staff. They're my team. We're a team. And so if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate. City Hall is open. You have to wear a mask still inside City Hall. But again, if you need anything, it's open 8:30 to 4:30. Pastor Matthew, you do a great job. I want to thank you for everything you do, and all the pastors in Brockton. We always work together for a common purpose of a better Brockton. And that's why I'm here today. I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and may God bless you and good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm voting for Bob Sullivan. Voting for him because I don't live in Bridgewater anymore. But I came back because I believe in him. He's honest, he's kind, and he's fair to everyone in this city. And I hope you'll vote for him too. That's the biggest reason I miss Brockton, is because it's a great city of many people. Thanks for voting. I'm voting for Bob.
I'm voting for Bob because he is the most humble, honest. He is about economic development, and there isn't a greater choice for this election.
So are you happy with the first term?
Yes, very happy. I don't think we would be in the greater shape without the guidance of the mayor. He stepped into a battlefield with COVID not even 2 months into his term, and he took it head on, started before we even had COVID in this city. He created the Health Equity Task Force that's been going out feeding people that have been quarantined, doing rental assistance with the help of NeighborWorks, and they've been feeding like 6,000 people, that have needed food, shelter. He's working with the homeless. He's doing economic growth. He didn't stop the construction downtown on Main Street. They wanted to keep working, so they kept working so that, a business can open on Main Street. I could go on and on. I could go on and on. But he's definitely the right choice. You're not going to find a more charismatic, humble human being.
Sullivan. That's right, vote for Bob Sullivan. He's the man.
Okay, so this is the only reason, just vote for him.
That's a good reason, right?
Yeah, he's a great mayor. Yeah, we love him.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.